Novo Nordisk is down 60% from its peak and is no longer Europe's largest company. Indeed, its capitalization has shrunk by $300 billion in the last 11 months. In the wake of this, the management of the giant behind revolutionary drugs for obesity and diabetes is regrouping, changing strategy, and yet all signs point to Novo poised for further expansion, bigger than ever. The company recently completed a giant acquisition of 3 manufacturing plants and continues to invest billions in research and production. What's more, it's the company in the sector where super investors have invested the most in the last quarter. What do these changes mean for the future of a company that has redefined the treatment of civilization diseases? And what impact will they have on its stock and the healthcare sector as a whole? JP Morgan published a market update highlighting the US Fed's recent decision to leave rates unchanged. The US Fed also lowered growth forecasts and raised short-term inflation expectations. Markets are pricing in 2 rate cuts this year and a roughly 50% chance of 3. Stocks are now being negatively impacted by concerns about a slowing economy and rising unemployment, which continue to weigh on the outlook for broader corporate earnings growth. Investors continue to accumulate investments more often in the defensive segments of consumer goods, utilities, and especially healthcare. The S&P 500's performance forecasts for Q1 2025 have declined 4.5 percentage points since January 1st. Notably, this is the largest downward revision since Q4 2023. Earnings growth for S&P 500 companies is expected to be 7.7% year-over-year, the lowest since Q3 2023 in Q4 2024. Concerns over import tariffs and retaliation from U.S. trading partners, along with government cuts, could plunge the broader economy into recession. This sends the indices into losses, but individual companies suffer much more. This brings us to Novo Nordisk. Novo Nordisk is engaged in the research, development, manufacture, and distribution of pharmaceutical products. But its shares are taking a beating at the moment. Since peaking in mid-2024 at $148 per share, the company is already down 60%. At the same time, the loss of more than $300 billion in market capitalization has taken away its title as Europe's largest company by market capitalization. The company's shares are now trading at the same levels as they did in 2021, so all the growth over the last 4 years is there. So what is the company doing wrong, or is it instead preparing for an expansion of unprecedented proportions? The second option is correct. The company recently completed the acquisition of 3 Catalent plants and is advancing its R&D plan, including obesity projects, through 2024. This year, Novo Nordisk continues to focus on expanding production capacity. The company also plans to improve operational efficiencies across the supply chain to enable investment in future growth assets. Novo Nordisk thus remains optimistic despite the current share price decline. The Fair Price Index on 𝗕𝗂𝗶𝗎, in which Novo Nordisk now completely dominates, sees it the same way. It is in first position in the healthcare sector and outperforms big names such as Johnson & Johnson in terms of attractiveness. Based on the DFC calculation and relative ranking, Novo's fair price is 43% higher. But that is only one piece of the puzzle. To save you hours of time searching for data to analyze, you'll find it all right in the stock detail on 𝗕𝗂𝗶𝗎, so be sure to check it out. Well, what impact is the current tariff war situation having on Novo Nordisk? The company is not worried about the ongoing trade war in the US and the 10% tariff that came into effect for pharmaceutical companies. CEO Lars Jørgensen told reporters, "At Novo Nordisk, I am not very worried about the tariffs." He noted that the company already has a globalized production setup close to the markets where the products are sold. The company actually exports products from the US as well. According to the CEO, they are able to adapt to the current situation and redirect product movements to avoid tariffs as much as possible. He added that the US market relies heavily on generic drugs rather than branded products, which Novo Nordisk does not sell. So things are looking good here, and the company is poised for growth. What's growing steadily is the number of subscribers to our channel. So join in too, and don't miss the next packed video with information from the investment world. So what about the competition? Competitor Eli Lilly recently announced $27 billion in investments in US manufacturing, including production at 3 of its 4 announced planned manufacturing plants. Eli Lilly, however, is infinitely better off in terms of maintaining share price value. While Novo continues to fall sharply, Eli Lilly is only 13% below its absolute peak. This week, it even recouped all the losses caused by the market plunge following Donald Trump's announcement of tariffs. The stock is then up a nice 4% year-to-date and sells for $840. Let's put the charts of the two companies underneath each other so we can see the truly abysmal difference that has been created here in recent months. Novo Nordisk has not denied its colossal decline, which has wiped hundreds of billions of dollars off its capitalization. Since Novo Nordisk peaked, the stock has plunged 60%, but in the same time Eli Lilly has only fallen 12%. But both companies operate in the sector that super investors, individuals with huge capital, have been buying the most over the past 6 months. This alone gives them a significant advantage over the overall market, and which is being magnified by the current growing uncertainty in the stock market. Find out why they have been buying stocks in this sector and what others have been buying in one of our recent videos. There's a new video coming out on Monday, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Do you own shares of Novo, Eli Lilly, or is this sector going completely out of your investment portfolio? Share it with investors on 𝗕𝗂𝗶𝚀 who are discussing Novo directly right now, or let's talk about it in the comments. Good luck with your investments.